All right, so for the experiment one, in the first video, I kind of went through it and showed you how to actually use the spinner. But in this video, I'm going to help answer the questions. So you will notice that these questions are the same as in the exit ticket. And so I want you to be thinking about it and making your own observations as you go through experiment 1, 2, and then the exit ticket. So in experiment 1, how many sections are on the adjustable spinner? Well, if we look back at the adjustable spinner, we see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors. But if you actually want to look at it, click on the screen and then you can use the tab key. And you'll notice it's kind of like going to different parts of the screen. And if you press it long enough, you'll actually get down and where you can see the spinner. And it shows number of sectors. For the challenge, you can actually change this to a different number. But if you're having difficulty with that, you can just keep the 6 sections that it automatically goes to. So for this first experiment, we're having 6 sections. And so our answer for this, how many sections are on the adjustable spinner? And I would simply write 6 sections. What is the theoretical probability of getting each color? And if we look at that, it shows it on the chart here. It shows a theoretical percent, and they're all 16.7%. Since there's 100% altogether divided by 6, 100% divided by 6 is 16.7%. So what is the theoretical probability? I'm actually going to write 100% divided by 6 equals 16.7%. So is the experimental percent the same as the theoretical percent? So if we look at our chart, when we actually did the spinning, so if it is reset, then when you were looking at your answers, you can see that the experimental percent here is different than the theoretical. The theoretical should be 16.7% for all of them, but the experimental percentages are mainly different, but they're certainly different than the theoretical probability or percent. So if I look, is the experimental percent the same as the theoretical percentage? Simply, no, it is different. What happens to the experimental percentages as you make more spins? Now, if you notice, the difference, when we made 10 spins, the highest was 30, the lowest was 0. So there was a difference of 30% between the highest and lowest. When we made 100 spins, the highest was only 25 and the lowest was 11. So there's only a difference of 14. So the more spins I make, the difference between the highest and lowest gets smaller. So I'm going to write the difference between the highest and lowest observed percent that's smaller. Another way to say this is the observed relative frequency. Relative frequency gets closer to the theoretical probability.